direct emissions with CO2, NOx or other ones, and by that a more comfortable way of flight, especially.
What's happening, guys, and welcome back to another great video on our channel. What does the future hold for electric planes? Tickets for 25 bucks, quieter terminals, or even shorter runways are all possibilities. For this cleaner future, companies have been banking on battery-powered jets. However, even though electric planes have been around since the 1970s, they have yet to gain traction. But what is it that keeps them grounded? Let's see how electric planes have arrived. Number 4. History. Two French army officers tried to use electricity to power an airship in the late 1800s, but they ran into trouble because the battery couldn't carry enough capacity. For the next 100 years, this will be a recurring problem. The first flight with an electric motor took off when nickel-cadmium batteries were invented, but it only lasted about 15 minutes. Then came the invention of lithium-ion batteries in the 1980s. They could hold more energy than ever, allowing planes like the Solar Impulse 2 to take to the skies. Starting in 2015, the solar-powered aircraft traveled around the world for 16 months at the pace of 28 to 34 miles per hour. Solar Impulse 2 is part of a trend in recent years to develop alternative energies, especially as citizens and policymakers become more aware of the environmental impact of flying. In 2019, the aviation industry released approximately 1 billion tons of CO2. This equates to about 2.5% of global pollution. It's almost as much as South America's entire continent produces in a year.
Available fully electric aircraft to really see what the state of the art is like right now. I'll be sharing my honest thoughts on the benefits and
Number 3. The mechanics. The strength of a battery, or its capacity to retain electricity, is measured in real energy. Even the strongest batteries have a specific energy of just 250 watt-hours per kilogram right now, so we'll need to get closer to 800 watt-hours per kilogram before we can start operating, which is also nothing compared to jet fuel specific energy of almost 12,000 watt-hours per kilogram. Consider some old computers from the 1980s. They were massive, but not quite as strong as the streamlined ones that we have right now. Batteries are currently comparable to the machines of the 1980s. They aren't as strong as they should be, and they aren't just tall, but also heavy.
It's a ton of fun to make, of course, but in that video we mentioned how we would be doing separate mini videos, mini uploads focusing on specific topics and really going in.
Number 2, putting the work in. So, if you want to give a plane more fuel, you'll need a bigger battery, and if you want to get the plane airborne considering its weight, you'll need an even bigger and more efficient battery, which means more weight. Then, you'll need a bigger battery to compensate for the extra weight. And if engineers build a plane around battery technology flaws, they must also overcome the industry's second hurdle, approval. In the United States, this entails obtaining approval from the FAA to inspect and operate an electric aircraft. Companies must demonstrate that any part of their plane is protected by passing a series of checks, one of which is to ensure that the battery cells do not catch fire.
This is the world's first full-sized, all-electric passenger plane. Her name is Alice. Now, she isn't the first to...
Number 1. The potential future. By 2021, Ampere plans to see its latest electric eel plane approved for commercial flights. Finally, a retrofitted 62-year-old plane was flown in Vancouver by an electric motor maker magniX and Vancouver-based airline Harbour Air. It became the world's first all-electric passenger plane to fly after a 15-minute test flight in December 2019. It demonstrated that electric vehicles could be effective. As a result, although Harbour Air and magniX worked out the weight balance in their plane, the range was reduced. Their electric plane will travel over 100 miles, which is somewhat less than the distance between Seattle and Vancouver, but electric planes would need to travel more to be competitive in the long run. The aim now for the two companies is to electrify the majority of Harbour Air's fleet of over 40 seaplanes and get them approved by the end of 2021. In 2018, just under half of all air tickets sold worldwide were for flights of less than 500 miles, but instead of using cheap, inexpensive planes tailored for these shorter distances, we frequently use luxurious airliners designed to travel thousands of miles. These planes are more effective because they can cruise for an extended amount of time, but on a 15-minute flight, these planes go up and back down. So do let us know what you guys think about electric planes being the future of air travel in the comment section down below. If you like this video and want to see more of it in the future, then all you have to do is like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I'll catch you guys later in another video. Bye now.